Welcome to another episode of In the Action, a Winston Taylor series where we take an unfiltered look at the people and perspectives shaping our firm. I'm your host, Eva Davis, and I'm very excited to be joined here by my relatively new partner, Gemma Grunewald. Gemma is a partner in our tax department, and she joins us as part of the momentum we're building across our transatlantic platform. So welcome. Thanks so much for joining me today, Gemma.
Thank you for having me.
What is something that no one at Winston Taylor knows about you?
So I don't think anyone is yet aware that I'm really a child at heart, and I have an avid love of Disney and Harry Potter. So a current project I have at home at the moment is trying to convince my husband that a family trip to Orlando is exactly what our 3 children need. But really, it is for me because I want to go to Disney World and the Harry Potter theme parks.
I will tell you, I'm not a huge Disney fan, but my kids, when they were growing up, loved to go to the theme parks. And do you have girls or boys or both?
I have both. So I have 2 girls and a boy.
Okay, so I will tell you, and maybe you know this and you've done this before, but dress them up as their favorite character before they go to the theme park. And then, even though that they know it's not real, but it really gets them in character and the characters respond to them away at the park, that brings them joy, that it makes it for a really, really fun trip, even though it can be a very long and hot day with a lot of lines. So I think you're going to make it to Orlando. What is your leadership philosophy?
So my leadership philosophy is really grounded in 3 things. So clarity, trust, and development. I think it's really important to set clear direction so others know where we're going and why it matters. And from there, it's about creating a supportive environment, one of trust and accountability. So you can empower others and give others opportunities, but also give them that support network and challenge them where needed. And I also think it's really important to develop people over time. So I'm an avid historian at heart, and I thought that a quote often attributed to Winston Churchill would be quite apt, especially because he shares a name with our new firm. So in life, you make a living from what you get, but a life from what you give. And for me, I think giving of your time to your team is fundamental. So you can give them support, time, and opportunities to grow.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, I would want to work on your team. A couple things you said that I want to underscore and why it matters. You know, I found that you get the best out of your team when you don't just sort of tell them the task that needs to be done, but they really understand the bigger picture and where it fits in and how they can even own something that, especially if they're a very junior associate, that may seem small, but they realize how important it is to sort of the overall transaction is really key. And then also, of course, feedback, support, trust are super important. Then people want to work on your team, and retention, you keep them longer, and they also start to develop better relationships with our clients, and you get that stickiness with the client too. So I like your philosophy. How do you build trust with clients?
I think trust is really built gradually and organically over time. I think you need to listen to clients, so not just listen to what they're saying, but the kind of wider picture, and again, why it matters. I think you need to understand the broader implications, so the wider context and long-term consequences, and only then can you give a proper answer to a question. And I think really trust is built through giving consistently high quality and thoughtful advice, so clients can rely on your judgment and insight in years to come.
And underscoring also a few things that you've said is if they feel like you are in it with them, part of it is being in it with them is understanding, as you suggest, the bigger picture. So you're feeling their pain with them, but you're in the action with them, shoulder to shoulder, thinking about how to solve those challenges in a way that works for them commercially and from a business perspective. So you're bringing them sort of the legal angle, especially on the tax side, but with a commercial lens. Then you build their trust and they want to keep coming back.
Yeah, and from a tax perspective, I think what's really fundamental in building trust is explaining to them the practical impact. Mm-hmm. So not just that there's been a change of law, but why this matters to them and why it might matter to a historic structure or to a structure going forwards.
So when you were choosing Winston Taylor, what were your top priorities when choosing a new firm?
Well, I'm smiling at this question because it does make me laugh. About a year ago today, I had a coffee with a recruiter where I sat down and he asked me a very similar question. And when I responded, I said, to start with, categorically, let's not look at any US law firms. So now I laugh, but actually, for me, what I wanted was a firm that hits the 3 C's: culture, capability, and collaboration. And with Winston Taylor, I've really found something that embodies all those 3. A culture that supports its people, collaboration that is embedded within teams, not just siloed, and capability across team and platform to really give consistently high quality advice to clients. So in our new transatlantic firm, I have somewhere that fits those 3 C's.
No, that's terrific. And what's interesting and people may not realize is, and I think about these things as an M&A lawyer, is the integration piece. And what's important to the integration piece is the culture piece. Not all the partners and attorneys here know this, but when we started talking, maybe even 6 months to a year before the merger was announced, we talked a lot about our cultures, and we met in small groups. And I think our chairman and your former chairman sort of said, oh my gosh, you had me at hello. We worked. There was a mesh, there was a culture, there was an alignment. And we knew that was going to be important to the integration piece, which is hard. And that's where some of the other businesses and companies have failed, when they really don't work well on the culture and the integration piece. And that's something that we've spent a lot of time on. And I hope we get right and continue to get right as we grow together as a firm. Thank you, Gemma, so much for joining us and for another episode of In the Action. It's really important to see how our partners have chosen to join Winston Taylor and are working with us together to grow this transatlantic powerhouse. And we're so appreciative of your thoughtfulness, the way you guide your teams, the way you lead by example, and the way you work closely with our clients to solve their biggest problems and challenges. Thanks so much.
Thank you.